Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And welcome to the State of the Saints podcast live on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're looking at the State of the Saints. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday night with me. For those that are watching this live on a Sunday. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Cam Newton. We're going to be discussing Cam Newton leaving the NFC South, going to the New England Patriots. And we're also going to be talking about available free agents that could be very good for the New Orleans Saints that can make an immediate impact. But we're going to go ahead and start it off with Cam Newton. And I think it's only right. I know a lot of people are probably saying, why am I started off talking about Cam Newton? He didn't play for the Saints or anything like that. But, Cam Newton played in the NFC South throughout his career since 2011. He was the first pick overall coming out of Auburn. And, the fact that he played in the NFC South throughout his career, now, I feel like it's only right that we talk about him for a few minutes. Cam Newton was one of those guys that was a warrior. I'm saying was like he isn't anymore, but when he was in the NFC South, he was a warrior, man. And he always made some of those games against the New Orleans Saints very interesting, very young in his career. He's always fought really hard, and he's always put up some really good numbers against the New Orleans Saints. And he was also one of those guys that was kind of hard to stop, especially when he was had the passing and a run dynamic, when he was on the field. We know that he won NFL MVP, and he led the Carolina Panthers to a 15-1 season on their way to the Super Bowl. Now, I would be lying to you if I say that Cam Newton's career doesn't come with a little bit of controversy. We all know about him in the Super Bowl. A lot of people feel like, he left a lot on the field and not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Especially the fact that when he fumbled the football, he didn't try to hustle to try to get it. And we all know that he likes to pout every now and then when things aren't going his way. But Cam Newton is a really good football player, man. And signing with the New England Patriots, I feel like is a good spot for him. You look at a team that wants to win. You look at Bill Belichick. He still wants to win in the AFC East. He still wants to win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. And I think that Cam Newton gives him the best opportunity to do that. No disrespect to Stidham. Stidham could possibly be a good quarterback, but when you got a well-established NFL MVP like Cam Newton on your team, that's somebody that you know for a fact that you can win with. But Cam Newton, he has a lot to prove. And we all know that Cam Newton does his best when he is motivated. When he's a motivated quarterback, he goes out there and he balls hard. And it's very hard to stop Cam Newton when he is motivated. We've seen it at Auburn, when he ended up leaving Florida on controversial fashion, going to a community college, then going to Auburn. He wins the Heisman Trophy. Then coming into the league, he took the league by storm, winning league MVP. So it always seems like when Cam plays with a chip on his shoulder, he plays at a high level. And I understand that he has some injuries with the shoulder and the ankle, but I think that he will do enough in order for him to get at least a good playoff run with the New England Patriots. But congratulations to Cam Newton. I know it was only a matter of time before he ended up finding a team. It wasn't anything that was wrong with him. It was just the fact that COVID-19 was going on, and teams wanted to take a look at Cam Newton, dealing with shoulder and ankle injuries. Team doctors want to make sure that they look at a guy, make sure that they're bringing the right guy in. So Cam Newton, I think he's going to do really well with not the Carolina Panthers. I'm so used to you saying that. The New England Patriots. I think he's going to do well with the New England Patriots. And I know that Bill Belichick got some things up his sleeve that have something to do with number one. But, we move on, man. The Carolina Panthers, they got Teddy Bridgewater now. They got a new head coach in Matt Rule. They got a new offensive coordinator, nice young team. So it looks like they're trying to remove themselves away from Cam Newton and start with a whole different, generation of guys. So good luck to both parties and hope they find success, except for the Carolina Panthers when they got to play the Saints. But I want to say thank you to everybody, that joined the live. Special shout out to Jerry. Jerry says, I don't like it. Rudy says, who that? Rudy says, how are you, man? I'm doing okay, Rudy. Thank you very much for checking out the live. Brian says, Cam Newton signed a 1-year deal with the New England Patriots. Joe says, what up, TJ, the host? Joe says, who that, fam? Jerry says, Cam should have signed with the Steelers, not the Patriots. Well, I think the Patriots give him the best chance to win. I mean, that's just the truth. It gives him the best chance to win. Who that nature say, I actually think is a good move for the Pats. People hate Cam, but Cam kept the Saints out of the playoffs and winning the division. Yep, that's true. And that's why that's why I opened it up talking about him. I know this is the State of the Saints podcast, but you got to give respect where respect is due. Cam Newton really gave the Saints the run for their money, when his first couple of years in the league. Sorry, I had to drink some water there. Throat kind of parched. Jerry says, I really do not like this move. Well, I mean, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it like Cam Newton, you don't like the fact that he's going to Belichick, but you can look at it this way. He's no longer in the division. Now, you can say that the Saints kind of had his number over the past 2 to 3 years, but still, man, Cam Newton is a really good football player, and he's even better when he's motivated. Cam will get cheating 101 in New England. Yeah. Let me see. How do y'all feel about Clowney signing with the Saints? We're going to get to that, Rudy. We're going to get to that. Ali Williams says Saints should have gotten Cam Newton. This crazy. I disagree with that, man. I think the Saints made the right move getting Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston, the fact that he's younger than Cam Newton, and the fact they feel like he has a little bit more promise and a little bit more shelf life. This isn't like a guy that we're dealing with injuries like Cam Newton with shoulder. I mean, we're talking about Cam Newton's throwing shoulder, okay? We're talking about an ankle. Jameis Winston just has interception issues. Nothing wrong with him health-wise. I feel like if the Saints can kind of work with him, he can humble himself and get in the classroom and work along Drew Brees. Man, sky's the limit for him. But when you're dealing with somebody like Cam Newton, still has something left in the tank, but he is 30 years old. So how many years are you going to get out of him? Especially if we're talking about, maybe having a quarterback competition once Drew Brees retires. So I think that Jameis Winston was the best, the best fit. That's just my honest opinion. Ali, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you on that one. What do you think about Colin Kaepernick? Brian, what I think about Colin Kaepernick is very simple. I think that Colin Kaepernick deserved to be in the National Football League. I feel like he should have never been out of the National Football League. Now, if he was out of the National Football League, it should have been because of how he played over the past few years that led for him not to be in the National Football League. But we all know what that's about. But it seems like teams are starting to change their tunes, and maybe they're going to try to sincerely bring Kaepernick in for a tryout. And if he does a good job, then they end up signing him, So, I mean, I think he's okay, but I haven't seen him in years. I mean, but he never should have been out of the league. That's just my honest opinion. If we're talking about just talent. Wade Saints signed Clowney. Nah, the Saints did not sign Jadeveon Clowney. There was a possibility that, they could land him because there are one or two teams that he really wants to play for. The other is the Dallas Cowboys. And I said it on the last show, why in the world would you not want to play for the New Orleans Saints over the Dallas Cowboys? The only reason why you'll be going to Dallas is because of publicity, because it's damn sure ain't about no winning. Okay, so let's go ahead and change gears, shift gears a little bit, talk a little bit about some of these free agents that are still out there. And since we're talking about Cam Newton, we all know, man, a lot of the guys weren't signed because a lot of these guys were coming off injury. A lot of these guys had some unanswered questions, and teams wanted to make sure that they do their due diligence. I mean, because we're dealing with COVID-19 and guys can't travel and people can't see each other face to face, eye to eye, if you will. There's a lot of people out there that are still out there in free agency, And right now, I'm going to go throughout the list. And my right here, this list is a part of saintswire.usatoday.com, and it had 40 best remaining free agents options for the Saints. Now, I'm not going to read all of the options, okay? Cam Newton, thank you very much for the $2. Y'all Southerners don't appreciate me. Man, shouts out to Cam Newton for the $2, man. It's not the fact that we don't appreciate you, Cam. It's just the fact that Carolina thought you was damaged goods. Now it's time for you to go up to Foxborough and out there in New England and change people's minds. But really do appreciate the $2, man. Thank you so much. But back to the 40 top free agents. Now, I'm not going to read all 40 of these free agents. That'll be a little bit redundant, and probably get a little aggravating. But what I did was I went down the list here, and I picked out some guys that I feel like would be good fits and that would be able to make an immediate impact for the New Orleans Saints. The number one guy that I feel like would make a huge impact for the New Orleans Saints, it will probably shock a lot of people, is not Jadeveon Clowney. The number one person I feel like that will make an immediate impact for the New Orleans Saints is Everson Griffin. Look, Everson Griffin, this is a guy that played for the Minnesota Vikings for years, a guy that's steady on the defensive line. He's a good pass rush. He's a smart guy. He's an instinctive guy. He has some issues off the field, when it comes to his mental health. But he decided to take some time off and get himself some help and came back and played really, really well. And I don't think I need to tell anybody in Who That Nation how good Everson Griffin is, because all you have to do is roll back the tape and watch him in the wild card game of this past NFC game against New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, he dominated that game. There was nothing that the New Orleans Saints offensive line can do to this guy. This guy has a high motor and he has really bad intentions. I feel like a guy like Everson Griffin coming into the locker room, being a seasoned veteran, being able to work alongside some of the young guys that are on the defensive line, and you have a guy that can be a part of the rotation. And I think at this stage of his career, he'll be able to understand that. I don't think he's looking to be a guy that gets every snap like some of these other players out there. I think that he'll be more open to be a rotation player, when it comes to him alongside Marcus Davenport. I feel like Everson Griffin would make a real big impact with the New Orleans Saints, especially when it comes to the pass rush. He is my number one free agent out there that I feel like will make an immediate impact. Number two would be Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney is still out there. He wanted some big money. He started to change his tune once he realized teams were laughing at that boy for asking for that money. Like he out here having about 20 sacks a year, like he Aaron Donald or the second coming of Derek Thomas or something. But he changed his tune, man, and he decided to lower his asking price. And now it seems like he just wants to go to a contender. And he broke it down to two teams. He wants to go to the Saints or the Dallas Cowboys. Now, once again, I keep saying this. Why in the hell would you want to go to the Dallas Cowboys over the New Orleans Saints in this climate? I really just don't know. The only reason I would say that he would go there is because of the prestige, because of the notoriety, because of the attention that the Dallas Cowboys get, because that's the only reason I would pick the Dallas Cowboys over the Saints. The Saints are a better football team than the Dallas Cowboys, and that's just all there is to it, straight up. Jadeveon Clowney, if he wants to win a Super Bowl, if he wants to kind of save himself, if he wants to just be a part of rotation and really just show other teams what he has, and put a film together where next year, if he doesn't sign with the Saints, teams can look at him and say, man, you know what? Man, I think we need to go out here and get Clowney, and he can go out here and get these multiple year deals, and teams will be able to look at him and say, yeah, we made the right decision. So if Jadeveon Clowney wants to win, if Jadeveon Clowney wants to get a shot at the Super Bowl, if Jadeveon Clowney wants to get double-digit sacks for the first time in his career, he needs to come to the New Orleans Saints. I think that he will be a good fit for the New Orleans Saints. Everson Griffin, thank you very much for the $5. He said, you tell him, TJ, I'm the greatest. Plus, I can fart on demand at scrimmage. Wait a minute. That's not Everson Griffin. I'll be ripping him, man. Man, come on, Everson, man. You can't fool us, man. I'll be ripping him, man. Look, you can't fool us, man. We know who you are. Shouts out to Everson ripping them, you know what I'm saying, for the $5. But anyway, man, those are the top two. Then I will move on. The number three on my list would be Darqueze Dennard. The Darqueze Dennard is still out there right now. I feel like he's a guy that played cornerback for the Cincinnati Bengals for about 5 years, and I feel like he would be a really good cornerback in the slot. Okay, this guy's like around 6'1", 6'2". He's long, he's lengthy, and I feel like he will be an issue with some of these slot receivers in the nickel. So I feel like he's a guy that's a good tackler. He has really good instincts, and he played in NFC North, man. You can't be no punk out there playing in the AFC North with the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like Darqueze Dennard, if he was to come to the New Orleans Saints, I feel like he would be a really good fit. He's not a ball hawk or anything like that. He's not known for interceptions. He's just known for good technique and good cover skills. Darqueze Dennard, I feel like he would be a good fit for the New Orleans Saints. Far as him being a part of the rotation, he did have some issues with injuries over the past couple years, and I don't think it's to a point where we have to look at it as being alarming. But I do feel like him coming to the New Orleans Saints, being in the nickel and not being on the outside, unless somebody get hurt, and that's another interesting dynamic about him. He can move on the inside as well as the outside. So if somebody was to get hurt, you can easily move him to the outside and don't have to lose no sleep at night, knowing that he will be able to cover the first or even the second wide receiver on the team. So Darqueze Dennard would be my next pick. And then finally, I'm saying finally because those are the people that interest me. They have some more. Of course, people want Logan Ryan, but that's too rich for my blood. The last person I would say is Michael Bennett. Look, you can say what you want about Michael Bennett, but Michael Bennett is a good pass rusher. He's a good pass rusher, especially on third down. When he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, they used him in a NASCAR package. When he went to the Dallas Cowboys late in the season last year, they used him in a NASCAR package. On third down, Michael Bennett has a knack of getting to the quarterback, okay? He has a low sense of gravity, when he's pushing, coming off the line, he can get really low underneath the offensive lineman to get to the quarterback. Yes, he's 33 years old, but he still could move, and he still is very, very active with a very high motor. So those are the guys that I feel like would be good fits for the New Orleans Saints. Most of them are defensive ends, as you already know. I don't see really too many linebackers out there that really catch my eye. It's mostly about the pass rush, man, because I'm really concerned about the Saints late in games. I don't know who said this. I don't know who brought it up. I might have been Iceman T. Shots out to Iceman T. But late in games, the defensive ends and the defensive lines do not show up. And the Saints need somebody with a high motor that can get to the quarterback late in games. The people that I named, Everson Griffin, Michael Bennett, Jadeveon Clowney. These are guys that are late in games that you can count on their motor still running hot. Now, Jadeveon Clowney, probably just a tad bit, you know what I'm saying? Needs a little bit of antifreeze, 50-50, you know what I'm saying, to kind of warm up a little bit, but he can get to the quarterback, no doubt about that. I'll be ripping them says, nah, that wasn't me, but me and Everson are tight. So I text him when TJ started the live, big old who fart to my good friend Everson Griffin. I'll be ripping him. Thank you very much for the $5, man. I thought that was you, man. Well, I'll tell you what, man. You need to call the Federal Trade Commission, man, because somebody using your trademark fart stick, man. So you might need to call somebody on that, man. I think it's some copyright infringement going on right now. But thank you very much. I'll be ripping them. I really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get down to some of the questions, man. I want to know what y'all think. And also, once again, man, go online, check it out, saintswire.com. saintswire.usatoday.com. Check it out. Look at the list. See who y'all see on the list that you wouldn't mind being a New Orleans Saint. Those are some guys that I thought, would be interesting for the Saints. All right, let's go ahead and let me see some of these questions about what we're talking about here. Ali says Brian Colin should be signed to the team immediately. Brian, well, I don't know, man. I mean, I seen him on the list, but I mean, I don't know. You know, like I'm more interested in players that I feel I know for a fact that can make like a really true immediate impact. You know, not to say that I don't feel like he wouldn't make an impact. I just feel like these guys are like what the Saints actually need to get them over the hump. Who that nation and Jameis don't get injured as much as Cam. That's true. Who that nation. That's what I said. You know, durability has been on the side of Jameis Winston. It just hasn't been securing the football. That's his only issue. Rudy says the main problem with Winston was the O-line as well as injuries. Also in a lack of a running game. You know, throwing the football all over the place a million gazillion times a game is not going to help you at all. It's not going to help you become a better player. It's not going to get you where you need to be. And teams going to be able to, pin their ears back to come at you. I mean, Tampa Bay running game was pretty much non-existent last year. The Saints did get Clowney, Ali. I guess somebody just brought it up. Colin is 30-something, and no team finna sign a 30-year-old quarterback who ain't playing in 2 years. Yep, that's true. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know about that, man, because I mean, Josh Johnson got a tryout, and he went in the league for like 3 years. So I think that he will end up, getting back in the league if he's good enough. You know, so I feel like he might be able to still get back into the league. So I mean, there's still quarterbacks that have come, been out the league for a while, came back and got signed. So why not him if he can play? Cam Newton took a serious beating for the last 5 years, so injuries were inevitable. Yeah, I agree with that, Dwayne. It was only a matter of time before these things happened to Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton, I think he was on borrowed time. I think that now, he took a year off. He got himself healed up. He got the surgeries that he needed. Now it's time to go out there and ball out and show Carolina that they were wrong for letting them go. Brian says, do you think if you have a season in the NFL because they're still having a coronavirus in the world, do you still think we'll have a season? Yeah, I think they still will have a season. They're trying to use all the precautions that they can in order to try to get a season going. So I don't see no reason why not. I don't see no reason why they can't have a season. TJ, what's the latest on the chances of the team playing since the breakout with Dallas outbreak? Do you think it affect things? Well, I'll be lying to you, Joe, if I said it didn't affect things. Of course, it's going to affect things. Anytime you're dealing with COVID-19 and you're dealing with a big city like Dallas and also big states like Florida and stuff like that, of course, teams are going to be looking at that like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, look what's going on down there. But the NFL is doing their due diligence and they're trying to make sure that the season does take place. But, I mean, it's really just up to the NFL and it's really up to the players if they want to go out there and play. Now, there was an article that came out that the New Orleans Saints organization is going to tarp off the first 8 rows of the Superdome for week 1 against Tampa to try to keep everybody safe. So they're trying to do everything that they can in order to try to give people opportunity to come out there to cheer for the home team. And also just try to keep the team safe. So that's all you can ask for, but you just continue to watch. You hope that people are starting to follow directions. You hope people are trying to do things to try to, create a curve, what I'm saying, like in the whole COVID-19 thing. And, you just pray for the best. But we're all hoping that we have an NFL season. Anthony says, why is Logan Ryan not signed? He's good. I think a lot of people have some question marks about Logan Ryan. I think a lot of people just want to make sure that they're making the right decisions, man. You got a lot of guys out here that are still free agents because teams want to be able to sit down and talk to these guys and see what these guys know. And also, make sure that these guys are healthy and they're good fits for their team. So COVID-19 caused a lot of issues with that. But these guys are going to get signed, man. I think like now that you've seen Cam Newton get signed, you're going to start seeing a whole lot more guys getting signed. Because that goes to show you right there, New England got him and talked to him and probably got him checked out. So other teams are probably going to be following suit. You're probably going to see other teams. Should the Saints get a key to lead? Do you agree? I seen his name on the list, Ali, but no, I don't think so. I think key to lead, even though he's older, he's a good football player. He still has a lot left, but man, I don't know, man. I'm not. I'm kind of torn between a key to lead, man. I don't know. He's a guy who I really can't say that I trust. What about the guy from the Jets that wanted to be treated? What do you think about that? I have to know you talking about the guy you said from the Jets that wanted to be treated. I'm not sure who you're talking about with that, Brian. Let me know. Just remind me. Clowney to the Saints, hopefully. Yeah, Saints fan, everybody hoping that. Lanyap Legends, what's up, man? What's going on, man? Jai Anderson, man, from Lanyap Legends, man. Y'all be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, man, and check out his podcast. He will be the special guest on the State of the Saints podcast, hopefully on Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? So he'll be able to come chop it up with me, and we're going to be talking New Orleans Saints. But once again, man, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. So click on, the name and subscribe to the channel, man, and check it out. He gave me an opportunity to be on his show, to be, a part of his podcast, and I had a good time, man. So shouts out to him, and man, keep on doing what you do, brother. Chemo says Griffin would be the man. I agree with that one. I definitely agree with that. I think that Everson Griffin would be a really good fit for the New Orleans Saints. Let's see. Kind of lost my place here. Can't wait to see Brady throw the ball that much as Winston did. Yeah, man, because I haven't heard nothing about no running back. I ain't hear nothing about no running back at all. Like, I didn't hear about no running back, so I still don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to try to throw the ball 40, 50 times with Tom Brady? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, so they're going to have to figure something out. Do you think this makes New England automatic contenders? In the AFC East? In the AFC East it does, but that's not saying much. The AFC East, I mean, man, probably one of the weakest divisions in football and has been for the past 15, 20 years. But we don't want nobody to know that. We don't want to let nobody know that. Watch Loomis work his magic, and we end up with Clowney and Everson Griffin. Josh and Jesus. That's true, man. That boy is a cap wizard, okay? I don't know how he do it, man. That boy make magic with that checkbook. I ain't gonna lie. Who that TJ Jones Nation? Who that TJ Saints Nation? Excuse me, man. What's going on, Ernest, man? Thank you very much for checking out the podcast. Ernest says, I'm on that Earl hype. Man, I just feel like a lot of people out here, they're really excited about this upcoming season, man. I think a lot of people are excited to see what the Saints are going to do. I know I am. Brian Pearson, Aaron Rodgers would be nice. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers would be nice, and I think that's another story for another day. But I keep on saying this, and I'm going to continue to say it. I would choose Matthew Stafford over Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I feel like Matthew Stafford is a really good quarterback, and I like him a lot. Not that I wouldn't take Aaron Rodgers, but if I had Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford right there in front of me, I'm rolling with Matthew Stafford. That just I may sound crazy saying that, but that's how I feel. If we pick up another edge, have Marcus start at the new edge, can come in on pass rushing situations, and then move Marcus inside, since he's pretty good at power rushing, but still fast. Victor, I don't know, man. Like, I think people aren't really giving Davenport the credit that he deserves. I think that he's a lot better as a starting edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like moving him around and stuff like that. I mean, not really too much necessary because the Saints really have depth on the inside. They got good interior depth. I mean, you got David Ayamada, you got Malcolm Brown, you got Shad Tuttle and Sheldon Rankins, and you got Mario Edwards. So, I mean, they got good depth in the interior. So that's not really necessary. I think that Davenport does a good job at his spot. And I think that we're looking at him because we want him to have 15 and a half sacks, close to 20, but he sets the edge really well, man, and he stops the run, so that's a good quality that he has. And he had 6 sacks before he went down. And I think if he would have stayed healthy, I think we all could agree that I'm pretty sure he would have had double-digit sacks this past season. Ice Cream Man 504 says, "Sup, man? What's going on, Ice Cream Man? Hey, man, I want to I want to extend an invitation to the Ice Cream Man to be on the State of the Saints podcast. To come on the show as a guest. Anytime he wants, man. I want to be able to get his perspective and everything like that. So, Ice Cream Man, I'm extending the invitation to you. If you want to be a part of the State of the Saints podcast one day, I would love to have you a part of the show, my brother. Chemo Slice says Matthew Stafford. Yes, sir. I didn't stutter when I said that. Matthew Stafford would be good for the New Orleans Saints. Matthew Stafford is one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in the NFL. Matthew Stafford has never had a running game. Matthew Stafford always was switching up offensive coordinator and coaches. Never really got a fair shake. Yeah, at the beginning of his career, he was a little bit of a China doll, but he ended up being an Iron Man towards the end. The guy is tough as a $2 steak, and I would love to have him on the team. This is a guy that is a victim of just bad franchise decisions. If you put Matthew Stafford on the Patriots, if you put Matthew Stafford in San Francisco, if Matthew Stafford would have been in the spot of Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers would have won the Super Bowl. That's how much respect I got for Matthew Stafford. That's how much I like that guy. And I think that he would be good for the New Orleans Saints. Thoughts on Kiko Alonso? My thoughts on Kiko Alonso is I see a guy that's very physical, a guy that can be a really good linebacker, a guy that can be an all-pro linebacker, but he always hurt. He's one of those guys that's always going to end up being hurt because he plays rough. He plays tough. He leaves it all on the field. He's a hell of a run stopper, and he's a hell of a defender, when it comes to defending tight ends and running backs. So I like him a lot. I think the Saints made the right decision trading for him, but he just has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, him alongside Demario Davis, they would be pretty much unstoppable. They would be a good 1-2 punch in the NFC South, and they'll probably be two of the best linebackers, tandems in the NFC. If I can be honest, I should say. Just read Pats fine 1.1 and a third rounder taken away for filming the Bengals. That was the third time cheating, and Belichick still not suspended. That's how you know the league hates us. Yeah, that's a good point. I did see that. I did see that they were fine, but I mean, what can you do, man? Honestly, like what can you do? You look at the New England Patriots, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I always think that, they just have a special place in their heart, and I'm talking to NFL. They got a special place in their heart for big media market teams, okay? And they treat like small market teams bad because they feel like, honestly, they don't have nothing to offer. And honestly, I really feel like the NFL, suspended Sean Payton and Greg Williams for the entire year because the Saints were too good, and they were becoming like really good to a point where they were embarrassing some of these top teams in the NFL that they were putting on TV every week. And people started to ask the question like, man, why we can't see these Saints games? It seemed like the Saints out here dominated. And it seemed like what the NFL did was, put a win in the sales, like of the New Orleans Saints. They tried to just, cut them back just a tad bit because they realized that if the New Orleans Saints keep on that trajectory, they might end up being really, really good. And I don't think that the NFL wanted that. That's just my honest opinion. I think that they didn't want the New Orleans Saints to be that good. And absolutely love Shy Tuttle and his stiff arm heard around the world. Didn't happen on Thanksgiving. I mean, I'm just looking at that like I could just imagine like somebody just sitting at the dinner table, sitting around, you know what I'm saying? Like dinner has been cooked, people have eaten, excuse me. And I just see people, you know what I'm saying, just turkey, you know what I'm saying, still left on the table, macaroni and cheese, you know what I'm saying, still got the spoon in there, and somebody just sitting at the table, probably eating a little bit, and all of a sudden just see Shy Tuttle just stiff on Matt Ryan. And just have food in my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could just imagine that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the whole entire country saw that. I mean, that was a nationally televised game on Thanksgiving, and we know it don't get more American than football prime time on Thanksgiving night. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw that. I'm the only real ice cream man that's that's that other one fake. Master P. Thank you very much for the $2, man. Master P up in the thing. Make him say, donating the $2, man. But man, shouts out to the ice cream man. I mean, man, ice cream man. I mean, he's certified, man. I mean, Master P, of course, is the original ice cream man. There's no disputing that. But I mean, ice cream man he's still official. Jaleel Dean says media already talking about a Bucs versus Patriots Super Bowl is already getting on my nerves. Let them talk, Jaleel. Let them talk, man. Let them talk. Let them talk. I can care less about the NFL talking. I mean, but that's what the media does, man. The media does this. How many times, man, God rest his soul, how many times have we heard them wanting a Kobe versus LeBron NBA Finals? I mean, they even like had commercials with the Muppets, with the LeBron Muppet and the Kobe Muppet. I mean, they wanted this so bad, man. They have wanted, even like I want to even say a couple years ago, they wanted a Tom Brady, Drew Brees Super Bowl. I mean, I'm just being honest. So they talk, man. That's the way that they do, man. They want to get people excited. But let them talk. Don't mean that it's going to come into fruition. So, I mean, that's just the truth. Ice cream man says, bet. Oh, man. How do you feel about the Eagles this season? Man, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about the Eagles. I really don't have nothing negative to say about the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles are a good, solid football team. You know, I like to see them play. You know, I watch them. You know, I watch them. You know, when they play. I just don't think that. I just don't think they're as good as the Saints. But I think that the Eagles always are contenders. You know, especially since they are Carson Wentz. I like him a lot. Those suspensions against Loomis, Peyton, Vitt, and 5 players, plus the loss of 2 second-round picks, set the Saints back 3 seasons. I say longer than that, man, to be honest with you. You know, who knows what it would have been? Who knows what it would have been if it wasn't for them? You know, I feel like that was the start of the divided locker room. I feel like that was the start of bad draft picks. But I will say this, Dwayne. I will say this. There was some optimism that came out of this, okay? Because I feel like if the suspension didn't take place, I think that the New Orleans Saints would have still been dealing with them same coordinators, and we'll still been dealing with the same thing to this day. To this day. For real. So that is a bright spot that I'm happy about. So this may sound kind of crazy, but if it took a suspension to get rid of Joe Vitt and all them other guys that were holding the team back, then I'm all for it. Okay, I'm all for it. What's popping, everybody? Young Nola, thank you very much for checking out the live. Casual Deck said, I think we're set with our roster already. Yeah, that's true. I mean, especially according to Pro Football Focus, Casual. They got us ranked number 2, the number 2 best roster in NFL. The number 1 is the Baltimore Ravens. Mike says, if we don't sign Clowney or Griffin, what about Clay Matthews? Wouldn't be a bad idea, man, because I feel like he would fit the rotation, and I feel like he would add to the linebacker room. And it's also good to have another defensive coordinator type player on the field. TJ, if a female cheat on you, will you take her back? I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I don't know what they got to do with New Orleans St. Nola. But look, man, you my guy, so I answer this question. If a girl cheated on me, would I take her back? At this stage in my life, no. Okay, no, that's not happening. Okay, but I'm saying that right now. You just don't know. You just don't know what you'll do in that type of situation. But I will tell you this: relationships are tough. You know, relationships are tough. It's a everyday grind. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you got to work hard to make it work. Especially like as you get to know that person. You know, I always say the easiest part is to learn a person. You know what I'm saying? Getting to know them. You know, you go out to the movies. What you like? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? That's the easy part. You know, I call it, you know, no disrespect to religion, but I call it the Jesus Christ phase. So, I mean, it's like, you know, everything perfect. You know what I'm saying? You can see no faults in the person. It's perfect. You know what I'm saying? So, but as years go on and you know that person like the back of your hand, that's where the real struggle comes in. That's where you really have to grind. But I say that to say this, you know, if a person cheats on you, you know, that's a hurtful situation. You know, I've been there before. You know, I've been there. I've been cheated on. And I can tell you, it's been the most hurtful situation in the world. And I can also tell you that I ended up taking that person back, and it didn't work out. Because always in the back of my mind, there was that thought about them doing that. And it just didn't work out for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like at this stage of my life, I just want somebody to be honest with me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm messing up, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do as a man, I want that woman to come to me and let me know that I'm not doing the right things. I want her to tell me, you know, what can I do to fix it? Because if you don't, then that is the role of a coward. And that's for anybody out there. If you are, you know, wanting a person to change and you're not having that conversation with them, and you rather go out there to try to talk to somebody else, and you justify talking to somebody else with the fact that, well, this person ain't listening to me. Well, ask yourself the question, did you give that person the opportunity to change? Because if you didn't, this is something in the back of your mind you always wanted to step out on them. So, long story short, only if you're willing to, you know, forgive that person wholeheartedly, you know, should you take that person back. But you should not take that person back if you're going to constantly remind them of they shortcomings, because that's not fair to them, and that's definitely not fair to you, especially with your mental. So hopefully that advice helped you in some way, shape, or form, my brother. When Odell Beckham became a free agent, do you think the Saints can pick him up? Will he be a good fit on the team? Well, only time will tell, Brian. Odell Beckham Jr. is good at this stage, but things can happen, and I don't really see the Cleveland Browns trying to get rid of him without maybe possibly trading him somewhere else. So who knows? Would he be a good fit for what his skill set is today? Absolutely. But I don't see that happening. Inevitable says ID line is already stagnant. If we add Clowney, that's like the rich getting richer. Yeah, but these guys got to stay healthy. I mean, I don't know, man. You know, how rich am I if I have an offshore account that I never see? You know what I'm saying? Like, how rich am I really? You know, I mean, I got the offshore account, but I can't really see it. I can't really get to it like that. So I don't know. Probably a bad analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you got to stay healthy. Nope, I would tell them to kick rocks. Man, I mean, you never know in those situations. Some people be like, I'll take that person back. And then you got other people that be like, man, I ain't dealing with it. That's when the trust issues kick in exactly. Um, yeah, man, like, but I don't know, man. I know, what I'm saying, it's the state of the Saints or whatever, but I do, like I said, I don't, man, any questions that y'all ask me, I try to answer. I put it like this. If you have trust issues, you shouldn't be in a relationship in the first place. A lot of people end up messing up their second chance because they end up messing up their second chance because they're not fully prepared to be in that relationship. And it's not fair to that person that you come into that relationship with baggage. It's very important to build yourself back up when you fall all the pieces. I say it all the time, and I don't know how many people have been following me, since I started this show, but I said, during this time, when I was having a breakup and before, I met my fiance, um, man, I went through a really bad time, man. I was depressed, and I use myself as like a China doll. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shattered into a million pieces, but I took time and I got down on the floor and I glued myself back together. And by glue, I mean everything in my life. I tried to figure out what were the most important things in my life. Do I need them? Do I not need them? Are these things really important to me? Or was it just the fact I was just doing this to be accepted or liked? Or like, why was I doing these things? Like, I questioned everything about my life, including broadcasting. And in the process, I was able to put myself back together again. And I honestly feel like if I didn't, then I wouldn't be with the person that I'm with today. I wouldn't be with her. Man, because of that, I'm a better man for her because of it. But if I would have came into the relationship, all screwed up and stuff like that, probably would have messed my chance up. Probably would have messed my opportunity up to, miss out on a person I should be with for the rest of my life. So if you have trust issues, man, make sure that you get yourself together. And, ain't nothing wrong with talking to people, man. Like, I know people be like, man, you crazy. No, man, you're not crazy. You're not crazy if you want to get help. You're crazy if you feel like something is wrong with you and you don't get help. That'll be the issue. Talk to somebody, man. Like, try to get yourself together, because don't miss out on your blessing because you're trying to get to it too fast. Okay, take your time. So if you have trust issues, make sure you work those things out, man. Let's see. Do you see PJ Williams playing in more safety packages due to the success he had? Chemo, I hope so, because that would save his career. Him being on the outside, him, being on the inside, that's not too bad. But safety, I feel like that's his true position to me, because he's not that fast and he's a good tackler. And for the most part, like, he has good inside cover skills, like from a radius or whatever. Like, if he going up against a guy with straight line speed, he getting smoked. So I think safety will save his career. We traded Stills because we didn't like his work ethic. I don't know why. I don't know about that one. I think they traded him because he had good value, which he's still proving right now with the Dolphins, and when he improved this year with the Houston Texans. So I don't know if I can forgive someone who cheated on me. I'd be hurt for a long time. Yeah. I mean, but you got to do what's best. If you don't feel like you can get over it, then don't try to. Because, like I said, it's going to end up hurting you and that person, because that anger is going to start lashing out at that person. I had to break up with my ex last week. She promised me she never fought in front of another dude. But I walked in on her and my best friend, and I can smell it. Can't trust these girls, bro. I'll be ripping them, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You can't trust them, man. You can't trust them. We ain't going anywhere without running the ball more. Ricardo, absolutely right. We need to run the football. You know what I mean? We all know that's the theme of the State of Saints podcast. You know, we all know that. Run the football is the key. Casual decks, we picked up Ryan Ramczyk and Sean fifth-year option, and 99% of the time, team pick up 5 years. They work out a long-term deal, and if we sign Griffin and Clowney, it would be a 1 year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, man. You know, I think that David Clowney and Everson Griffin, I'm probably going to be what I call mercenary deals. You know, like those just 1 year deals where they just you know, give their services to a team. That's the way I look at it. Randy says, "What do you think about Ziggy Ansah?" Ziggy Ansah, I like him, but Ziggy Ansah, man, he has some injury issues, and they're very, very serious, man. And I seen his name on the list, Randy, but when you're talking about Ziggy Ansah, I think something is much more seriously wrong with him than they saying. I hope Chauncey Gardner-Johnson takes a step forward and balls out even more. He made some great plays and also had some bad plays, but most were rookie mistakes. I've seen him grinding on his Instagram. Yeah, me too, Victor. Yeah, he made some rookie mistakes, man. I mean, we all know about the George Kittle play, but for the most part, man, later on in the season, like he wasn't playing like no rookie. He was playing really, really well. So I'm interested to see his jump from year 1 to year 2. I think we're going to see something very special out of him. I don't think we have enough money for Clowney and Griffin if we want to keep Lattimore, Ramczyk, and Kamara. Yeah. I mean, but not necessarily. You like I don't know who that was. I apologize, but like you said, Lattimore, Ramczyk, the 5th-year option. The only person you really got to worry about is Kamara, and you have to look at the fact that Drew Brees possibly could be retiring next year, so that's gonna free up a lot more money. So that's something that we have to think about as well. But I just think that the New Orleans Saints, they got a lot of guys out there that will be beneficial to the team. But like I said, David Clowney, Everson Griffin, Michael Bennett, and Donquez Denard, I feel like they will be guys that can make a quick impact. Imagine Davenport and Cam on the outside and Clowney and Ranks on the inside. That front line would be crazy. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not gonna disrespect David Alumata like that. David Alumata, when Sheldon Rankins was out, that man played outstanding. Okay, and then we can't even forget about Shai Tuttle, who I feel like is going to be pretty good. So, and I don't know if Clowney want to be on the outside. I would like to see Clowney stand up as like almost like a linebacker. I would like to see that. I'd be interested to see what he would do in, maybe some linebacker packages. DJ Swearinger is going to be a game changer. Yeah, we can't forget about him. DJ Swearinger is another guy who has injury history, but when he is on the field, he's a ball hawk and he's a hard hitter too. He's not afraid of that contact. I tell you that. He honest for the cap situation. Do you want Drew to retire? I know nobody wants it to happen, but honestly, it's best for the team. Anthony, I don't know about it. No, I don't know about if somebody don't want to see that happen. I don't know about that. They got quite a few people out there that might want to see Drew Brees ride off into the sunset. Now, I mean, they got some people that want to see that now. But if Drew Brees retire, it will free up the cap tremendously. Definitely. Also, thank you for the info, yo. Yeah, man. Casual Decks, man. The Who That Nation be on it on this page, man. Brian says, if the Saints win a Super Bowl, will Ice Cream Man give us free ice cream throughout the New Orleans nation? And I don't know. You have to ask him on that one. He might. If we sign Cam or Griffin, where do you think our defensive line is ranked? I think we'll be ranked like in the top 12 or whatever. I think we'll probably be like 10 or 11, something like that. Top 15. I think they were like number 15 last year, so probably be like, I don't know, like in the top 10 or something like that. I think they'll be a little bit better, but that's if everybody stays healthy. Like all of this right now is we're all wishing this and saying these things because we think the team is going to be healthy. But these guys got to stay healthy, man. Like if they don't stay healthy, like all of this is just wishful thinking. That's what I really want. I want these guys to go out there and I just want them to play well, man. Jesus. I just want them to play well, don't give up big plays, and be healthy. That's all I want as a Saints fan. That's all I want. Young Nola says, do you think we get Clowney? I don't know. But if he chooses between the Cowboys and the Saints, why would you not want to play for the Saints over the Cowboys? I don't. If you're talking about winning Super Bowls. What do you think about our draft picks this year, or any of them start on the team this year? I think all of them going to start. I mean, I'm just being real. I think, for the exception of Thomas Stevens, I think all of them going to be starters. I think Cesar Ruiz going to be a starter. I think Adam Trotman going to be a starter. I think Zach Bond going to be a starter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think all of these guys are going to be starters. I do. I wholeheartedly believe that all these guys are going to be starters. Who that man says, what up, TJ? Do you think the Bucks are way too overhyped? What do you think their record is going to be? Well, I think their record is going to be 10-6. They're going to make it to the playoffs. So if you're looking at it from that particular perspective, then I guess they're not overhyped. But if you're talking about them going all the way to the Super Bowl, then whoa, okay, slow your roll. All right, calm down now. But as far as them being better, yeah, absolutely, I think they'll be better. I'm excited about our rookie receivers like Jawan Johnson and Marquise Callaway. Yeah, it's always good to have some new blood up in there, man. I'm also interested to see and happy to see what Emmanuel Butler is going to do this season. I think we kind of forget about him from time to time, but I'm interested to see what he's going to do. But, ladies and gentlemen, in the Who Dat Nation, thank you very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast live. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Feel free to inbox me your questions at stateofthesaints@gmail.com, stateofthesaints@gmail.com, and also on Facebook, facebook.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. And if this is your first time checking out the State of the Saints, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. YouTube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast is the place that you go, to check out all of the episodes that we've done. We just talk New Orleans Saints, man. I appreciate everybody that comes and checks out the videos. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that has been listening to the audio podcast of the State of the Saints podcast. I really appreciate you all, man. Much love to you, and I hope you all have a very good week. We'll be at it tomorrow. I'll be going live once again. I'm probably going to be on my lunch break at the station on tomorrow. So if you're not doing anything like around, I say about 12 Central, 1 Eastern, then come on, check it out. If you at work and you can't get to it, you can always check it out, on the replay. But thank you all very much for your time. And till next time. All I got to say is, who dat?